Now, Blackfest Land First is calling for donations to raise money to contest the 2019 elections. BLF aims to raise around 600,000 rands. Well, for more on this, BLF's national convener, Andile Mngxitama, joins us now from our Durban studios. Good evening, sir. Thanks very much for your time. 600,000 is what you need to be able to register and prepare for next year's election. How much have you received so far since making the call?
Yes, today is the third day of our campaign, which we call Take BLF to Parliament. And the pledges that we have seen up to now is, I think, about 115,000, roughly. In the bank itself, we have seen in the past 2 days at least 10,000. And today I have seen this 100,000 pledge, and I've seen also furthermore about, say, 5,000. So I'm rounding it off without even looking at the other amounts. We are highly motivated, inspired, and humbled by our people putting little bits of money. I mean, I've seen evidence of somebody who've donated 150 rand, and he had or she had about 180 rand in their account, and they gave BLF 150 rand of their money. We believe if we want to have a political party in parliament that represents the views of the poor, then the poor themselves must fund that party. Right now, the political parties in parliament, most of them are captured by those that have given them money to go to parliament. Every single party, main party in parliament today, has been paid for by the super rich in the country. That is why they are unable to make them account. Even we've seen the richest family was in parliament yesterday, the Oppenheimers. Politicians were very polite, almost avoiding to ask the hard questions. We know cigarette smugglers, people who are claimed to be cigarette smugglers in this country, have given money to political parties. And these political parties, such as EFF, have not raised the question of accounting for these criminals, because they are there on the behest of these moneyed people. We say, as Blackfest Land First, we want to take the mandate from black people, poor black people. If you want us in parliament, you must pay for us to be in parliament. But we are saying that money, the 600,000, once we receive it and we deposit to be able to contest, and we will get seats, that money will return, because it's a deposit that returns. We already have identified good causes where this money will go to. We have partnered with a school in Inanda, Isopunga Primary School. We have been there. We spoke to the principal and the leadership of the school, where we said half of this money will go to that school, which is a needy school. So BLF is not taking this money. Help us to go to parliament. We'll immediately take your money and actually put it back to the communities. But this is a good thing, and it's a pioneering thing. No political party in South Africa has done this.
Well, I mean, we're playing, as you and I speak, visuals of you in Parliament only the other day, where you are protesting against the Oppenheimers. We've seen you protecting the Guptas. We've seen you shouting down journalists, accompanying Jacob Zuma and his son to during their court appearances. Is it that record that you believe has earned you the admiration, and which hopefully will turn into monetary support for your campaign as you bid for parliamentary seats?
We all know now that the South African media the mainstream media is based on fake news, manufacturing fake news. We know Sunday Times, if I might say, on television, they've come out to apologize. And we also know they're withdrawing those statements precisely because they are protecting part of white monopoly capital. We raise sharply the issue of journalism being reduced to becoming propaganda for white monopoly capital, which is the enemies of our people. We as Blackfest Land First protect all black people. We have protected Julius Malema, whom we don't agree with. We've done the same came with President Zuma, with Duduzane Zuma, even Musi Maimane we have defended. Any black person that comes under attack, BLF is going to protect. But I think our people can see our consistency and saying we unite black people, and we're saying who is the real enemy here. Real enemy is not black people, it's white monopoly capital, and in this instance the Oppenheimer family is the representative of white monopoly capital. And what they have done with their private international airport inside an international airport, and there's not been a serious questioning of that. And the fact that they went to the ANC Luthuli house to have this conversation, to have their airport, it is a clear case of state capture. Again, we see white monopoly capital is protected. It's not before Judge Zondo. Only BLF is going to go there because we're not captured by these interests in South Africa, including the land question. We know the ANC and EFF are not truthful when they say they support land expropriation without compensation, because they're being sponsored by land owners. There will be no land expropriation without compensation in South Africa before the election and even after the elections.
I mean, how do you blame the Oppenheimers if they approached the ANC or a Malusi Gigaba or whoever, and those people gave them what they wanted? Aren't those the people who were supposed to be seriously punished because they have been entrusted with the future of this country, and they are the ones who have actually betrayed the trust of our people in them?
No, you are right. The ANC in particular, let's be clear what happened here with the Oppenheimers. Nikki and his son went to the ANC Luthuli house, not the Gigaba matter, which Gigaba was a minister. We are raising the issue of going to Luthuli house and saying to a political party, not a government department, we want an international airport inside an international airport. And remember, the Oppenheimer family it made their money out of diamonds and the mining area. In my mind, I'm just thinking, okay, now they mean they have their own international airport. It means they can just go to Kimberley, take diamonds, put them in their private jet and fly out wherever and sell them and bring whatever else they want to bring back in the country. It is unheard of. It is a shocking thing that the Oppenheimers went to Luthuli house. They admit this. This is a classical case of state capture, but no one will raise it because they're paying for all of them.
Who was
Julius
leading
to Ramaphosa?
Who was leading the ANC at that time?
Well, no, but of course it was President Zuma. But we know that
the same
people
person that
in the
you've
ANC
thrown your
office,
weight behind, and for whom you're running campaigns.
Absolutely. We are saying if President Zuma knew, then he must account. But what we know for a fact is
have you ever asked him?
Oppenheimers, they clean Oppenheimers, they went to the ANC. No, of course. I mean, we opened a criminal case yesterday. Everybody who is implicated, but we know the Oppenheimers are the instigators. They are the ones who went to Luthuli house.
But have you ever asked Jacob Zuma, who you stood next to, have you ever asked him why this happened under his watch? You shared platforms with him. You've said it openly that you agree with him on a whole range of things. Have you ever asked him, why did you allow that to happen?
There is no evidence that the Oppenheimers, when they went to the ANC, they met President Zuma. There is evidence that they met Gwede and they met Jacobs in the ANC, who was the manager of the ANC. And in fact, the letter was not signed by President Zuma. It was signed by Jacobs, the manager of the ANC office. So there's no link between the Oppenheimers going to the ANC office and President Zuma. But if he knows, and that's why the Hawks must do their job. The shocking thing is this: Nikki Oppenheimer and Jonathan Oppenheimer went to Luthuli house, induced the ANC to give them an international airport of their own. You know, we are all very unhappy, correctly so, when the Guptas landed at Waterkloof. We're correct to be unhappy with that. But why is it that we're not happy, and we're not unhappy with the fact that the Oppenheimers have their own private international airport inside an international airport?
Well, there are a lot of ministers who went and met with the Guptas, for example, and very little evidence of Zuma himself meeting with the Guptas, but there is no disputing the fact that they actually went there because he tacitly approved.
Well, we're not talking about the Guptas. The Guptas don't have an international airport It's at an international
we're not talking
airport.
about people
The
who only
Guptas are
own
not the
international
ones
airports
who
here,
went to the
or
ANC.
who run services at international airports. We're talking about the sort of things that have brought this country where it is now on a precipice, and that you have to care about without selecting the sort of people that you want to make angels and the people you want to make devils.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But here's the question. I'm saying, wait this. The Guptas, landing at Waterkloof is a bad thing. We say it's a bad thing. We condemn it. But here's the Oppenheimers that have their own international airport inside an international airport, and they're involved in mines. And they go to the ANC. And this is a classical case of state capture, and they are not brought before the book. They are not brought before Zondo. And we are saying because white monopoly capital buys, this is what we're talking about. That's why BLF says people must give us, the poor must give us money to go to parliament. Because if they don't, what happened to the ANC, to the DA, and to the EFF might happen to us. EFF ran to a smuggler, a secret smuggler. At the last hour, Julius Malema is on record to say that, to beg Mazzotti to give him money so that he can register his political party.
But that's not the reason. That's not the reason. That's not the reason you fled from the EFF. That's not the reason you left the EFF.
Well, what is the reason?
I don't know. You tell me.
In fact, let me just put it this way. Let me put it this way. Do you know I'm not interested in talking in those details. But we did not know, when I was there, I did not know that Mazzotti was paying for EFF to go to parliament. I gave the EFF my last 10,000 rand because I believe in the project of paying for ourselves. That is why we're asking our people to pay for the BLF to take us to parliament. Gandhi, at the background, he was taking money from these cigarette smugglers. It is unfortunate, and it has compromised our parliament. As we speak, the legislature is in the pockets of white monopoly capital. That is why they can't answer the question of jobs. They can't answer the question of poverty. They can't answer the question of land, because if we want jobs, we must insist that white capital actually creates those jobs. But because these political parties in parliament today, the main political parties are in the pockets of people like the Oppenheimers and Johan Rupert, because they paid for them, our people's voices cannot be represented there.
And Mngxatama, that's where we're going to leave it. Thanks very much for talking to us this evening. Black First Land First National Convener, Andile Mngxatama.